In 1973 I started my nurse training in Glenside in Bristol, and they put me on a ward. It was a chronic, elderly, long stay ward, female ward. The patients had been there, some of them for about 40 years. And I was told it was a dementia ward, but now looking back, I know it wasn't dementia. These people were contorted, twisted bodies, fixed, rigid, screaming, wailing, wheeled off to the toilet, fed a pot of gloop because they couldn't eat properly, they had to be fed. And they'd been like it for years and years and years. And I remember some of them they called catatonic, and they had what they called waxy flexibility, which is you lifted their legs or their arms and put them in a position, they would stay in that position. And it was horrible. It was terrible. It was like hell. And then you had to do 3 months on a ward, and then you had in block, and then you would go on another ward. So be on different wards. But anyway, I had been reading this book by Oliver Sacks. It was called Awakenings, and he was a psychiatrist in 1969, and he worked on one of these wards, just like I've described. And he decided to try a drug, L-Dopa, on them. And they came to, miraculously, for a few weeks. And they could play pianos and dance and talk and write. So their mentality in their brains wasn't damaged, but their body control and everything had turned to stone. And it was terrible. And he had a documentary made about it, and he also had a film and wrote a book. But these people, after a few weeks, they went back into the same state they were in, and sometimes even worse. And of course, most of them, I should think they're all dead now. Yeah, they've got to all be dead now. So I was remembering when I watched this Awakenings documentary that they were exactly like the people I was looking after. And then he said at the start of the documentary that there was a pandemic of sleeping sickness, encephalitis lethargica it was called, in 1920. Now, I've been a nurse for 40 years. I knew about the Spanish flu. I never heard of this epidemic in 1920. And it mysteriously disappeared in 1926 to 1927. There were no more new cases. And these people, some of them died, some of them were disabled, but they managed to survive and live some sort of life. But thousands were incarcerated in psychiatric hospitals because they couldn't function at all. And I found newspaper cuttings of this mysterious sleeping sickness, and nobody could explain where it came from. Nobody knew the cause of it. But, of course, in 1918 we had the Spanish flu, and a scientist developed a vaccine for it. So he thought it was a bacterial vaccine. Came from pneumonia, sputum and calf serum and all sorts of revolting stuff, and he reckoned it would stop the spread of the Spanish flu. And so it was given out in the millions, this vaccine, all over the world, given out in the millions to prevent the Spanish flu. But then they realised that it was a bacteria, it wasn't going to be effective against the flu. So they stopped it in 1926, and then there were no new cases of encephalitis lethargica. There were all the long-term damaged people left, of course, but no new cases. And this encephalitis lethargica just popped up all over the world. It didn't spread like like it should be seeping and creeping and spreading from area to area. It just burst all over the world, almost all at the same time. So, in my mind, they've never explained what caused it, never found a cause, always been a mystery. In my mind, these were all vaccine damaged people. There's no doubt about it. They all had terrible conditions, and then they went on to develop more terrible, debilitating things as the years went on. But it's been silenced, absolutely silenced, and no one will admit to the cause of it. And no one even talks about it now. And those poor people, they had horrendous lives. We found the write-ups. It's in his book, The Awakenings by Oliver Sacks. You can read the cases, individual cases of some of the people. They were working, or they were going to school. They were functioning. They were all right, fine. And then suddenly, they just were asleep. Couldn't wake them up. Couldn't make them do anything. They were almost in a coma, I suppose. And then when the ones that didn't die were left with these terrible, terrible conditions. Silenced. Just like now.